Hey friends, I hope you're all doing splendid. Thanks for stopping by for another adventure. My name is Ian with Out of This World Reader, and today's video is going to be the book buffet tag. I recently saw this tag on Hugo's channel, and I figured since I love food and cooking and then books, and then you combine like a little tag surrounding the both of them, I figure I had to do this. So without further ado, question number one's coming right up. Question number one is the appetizer, and that's basically kind of like a short story that you wish would have been expanded on a lot into like a full novel. And I would have to say Summer Frost by Blake Crouch. I really enjoyed kind of the AI aspects, and I've always been afraid of just the future of AI, and I was pretty scared there at the end, and I wanted to see where it could have went afterwards. Maybe like the character could have like found out a way to stop the AI or the things from happening. So I really wish it could have expanded on it a little bit more and kind of got a little bit more in depth with just the kind of future of AI, and it kind of covered some basic topics, but I think it could have been expanded in a little bit. Question number two is the salad bar, and that's basically just like picking all your different ingredients and throwing them in, whether it's like writing style, the plot development, character development, and choosing your top three for building kind of your book salad. And the first one I gotta say is gonna be the writing style. I am always a fan for just very descriptive and whimsical kind of styles of writing to really kind of paint that picture perfectly in my mind so that I'm just entranced and lost in another world. That is one of the things I would always look for in books. And another one is the found family trope. It always warms my heart to see some of those aspects throughout the book, even if it's just like a little bit touched on it, if it's even in the background. I need it in there. I just have to have some found family. And that last one is action and suspense. I gotta be on the edge of my seat for the whole book, waiting to figure out what's gonna happen to these characters or what's gonna happen to the plot. So it's gotta have some of that throughout as well. But I think with all those three combined, you will have a near perfect book in my opinion. Found family especially. Like if it's got that, it's already gonna be a high rating, I think. Next up is the DOSA Station, which is basically a short volume that packs a punch. And for this one, I gotta give it to Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury. When I read this, it definitely changed my viewpoint on just keeping books, and I was afraid of getting rid of any of my books. If you've read this, you kind of know why, and I just loved how it kind of touched on a lot of different aspects and kind of looked at the future in a different kind of viewpoint and what it could end up being. And I think that in the short amount of like little classic, it really packs a punch, and it definitely changed a lot of my viewpoints on keeping and getting rid of books. So it definitely packs a punch. Next up is the Pasta, and that is a book that makes you feel all kinds of comfort and just leaves you feeling fully satisfied. And for that, I have to give it to just any Rick Riordan book. I always love getting lost in just the mythology, and not even just the Greek mythology that he does, like the Egyptian mythology that he covered in the Kane Chronicles. Really enjoyed that, and I always feel like comforted from those books, or just like any fairy tale or folktale retellings. I love fairy tale and folktale retellings. Like any recommendations that you can give me, please drop them down below, because they are just a joy for me to read, and I am always on the search for more, because all the ones that I've read have they've been so good. Next up we have The Beef, which is a book that kind of fills you up with those hearty feelings or that gooey warmth, or it was just like a dread to get through. And for this, I have to give it to Anxious People by Frederick Bachman, which filled me up with some gooey warmth. And it was nice to see that just everyone else has a lot of things going on in their life, and I was able to kind of just like bond with a lot of these characters in the story, because each one of them has something going on in their life, and they're able to come together and help each other out. And I loved how it touched on a lot of important topics, and it really helped me out in an important time when I was struggling in life with university and stress and everything. So it definitely just left me with those hearty feelings and left me with a lot. Next up is The Bread, and that is going to be a book that you and your friends are always arguing over while you wait for your main dish. And for this, I think it's going to go to just the Harry Potter series in general. We're always arguing who's the kind of the favorite character among us all and why. I always say Hagrid because he's just the greatest character in my opinion. Like, he doesn't have a bad bone in his body, I don't think. A lot of people say Harry or Dobby. Dobby's another good one. Cerberus. Or, yeah, not Cerberus. Yeah, some people have said Cerberus, yeah. Some people say Sirius, and I agree with that as well. But Hagrid, I've got to stick with Hagrid. I mean, he's just got the warmest heart in the world, and he looks out for all the students of Hogwarts. And, yeah, he's definitely my favorite character in my opinion. Next up is The Cheese Room, and that is a book that had a happy ending. And for the first one, I have two for this. For the first one, I have to give to The Starless Sea by Aaron Morgenstern. I just loved the way that it ended. It just left it open for a lot, and it was just, the whole book is just a flowery kind of ride of just a whimsical world that you just can get lost in and love. And then just the ending, it was like everything building up to the ending was just like very stressful, and you didn't know what was going to occur, but then it has that happy ending, and it just leaves you with that kind of warm feeling. And that is the first one. Then we have one of my favorites, and that is Spinning Silver by Naomi Novik. The whole story, like, you definitely feel and bond with these characters. Like, you feel bad for them because each one is kind of got a lot going on in their life. One of the main perspectives is basically kind of like cast aside in the village, and her family is basically looked upon because her father is a moneylender and everyone just hates them. And she is still having to, because her father is basically kind of like he's very lenient with kind of people paying back. And then his daughter, I believe her name is Miriam, is basically going around, she's taking all the money because their family is struggling, and a lot of people just hate her. And you definitely feel for them. And then there's a family that you just like, oh, they're abused by their father, and you feel for them. But then at the end, once it all kind of connects and everything is kind of solved, like, there's a found family aspect. And if you've watched a lot of my videos, like, I love found family. And when they all came together and they were all loving each other, broke my heart in a good way. It made me just cry happy tears. And the next question is The Chocolate Fountain, and that is covering when you start a new series or when you're checking out an author. Do you dip in and come back later, or do you just binge and go back to back and back? And I like to go just back to back to back. That way it's all fresh in my mind, and I can just connect with the story as much as I can, because with this ADHD, my mind goes everywhere, and I forget a lot of things. So if I leave a lot of time between series, I'll forget everything. So I always like going back to back and then just finishing it and then starting another one. So that's basically that. Yeah, that's a chocolate fountain. I like just getting that strawberry all the way in that chocolate fountain, getting it completely covered, and then eating it. And then the last little prompt is to tag some friends, and I'm going to just tag everyone that loves food and books. If you love those two things, definitely give this tag a try. But that is all for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed it. I'll make sure to leave links to my social media down below, as well as the link to the Biblionauts book club that I started. Definitely go check that out. And I hope you all have a splendid day, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. But I'm going to leave you with a message from Ellie, who said that adventure is out there. So I'll catch you next time. Bye.